Welcome to the Fox Den Podcast, where leaders gather to grow.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the podcast. Here we are in the Fox Den. I'm Randy Fox. This is a place where leaders gather to grow. I'm so excited to have a conversation with one of my great friends. Jerry Romes is in the house. Welcome, Jerry, to the podcast.
Hi, Randy. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be with you and excited the work that you do in developing leaders, just not locally, but across the country and around the world. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I got to tell everybody a little bit of your background. And Jerry has an amazing story. He's a great husband and father to grown men. He's too young, but he's still a grandfather. And he spent some time in the mortgage industry. He was in retail. He actually led a really big box retail store and took it from losing almost $1 million a year to making more than $1 million a year in a very short period of time. And then he has also spent really most of his career leading people to follow God. He's a pastor. He and myself and our wives planted a church almost 7 years ago here in Fruitland Park, Florida area in Central Florida. And he has just been leading teams and helping develop people. And we're going to talk a little bit about setting yourself up for success and how you keep going. So it's just, Jerry's been a great influence on myself, but he is just really intentional. And I just want you to talk, Jerry, with everybody about, first of all, right, how do they set themselves up for success? I know you've got some really practical thoughts to share with them on that.
Yeah, really setting yourself up for success. If you rely on other people to do it, you're not going to get there. And so I decided that I'm going to align myself with purpose, not just for my accomplishments. That's really my definition of success, to align with purpose and not just your accomplishments. Your accomplishments will come as long as you're walking in your purpose. And really 5 things within that setting yourself up for success. The first one is clarity is power. You need to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. Then create systems and not just goals. If you don't have the systems, then you're never going to build something that's going to be long lasting. Next one is your environment matters. Who you surround yourself with is very, very important. And number 4 is invest in personal growth. Don't think that success comes without investment into yourself. You are the person that is leading that org. And if you're not leading the org, or if you're not leading your department, if you are a leader of any kind, you really need to invest in your personal growth. And then the last point under this is really to anticipate resistance. You're going to have some resistance, but if you can figure out what those issues are before you even get there, it's really going to make a difference as you walk through those different times in your life.
Yeah, those are 5 really great points. One thing that I noticed about all 5 of them, though, is that they're all very intentional, that it's not a happenstance situation. And I guess talk about that mindset of how you go about that personally and have helped other people and teams like attacking those, because they don't just happen. There is an actual plan and approach to each and every one of those.
Yeah, thanks, Randy. So the part of defining what your first one was clarity is power. In your mind, you have to think, okay, this is what I really want to do. You have to define what a win is, because otherwise you're never going to figure out what your success is. And success today is not your success tomorrow. So you'll be successful at different levels of your career and different levels of where you are. But if you rely on the past, a past win, while they're important because they'll set you up for future wins, you really have to continually reassess where you are and then move forward. When you create systems around, it's really like your body. Your body has so many systems in it. Just the fact that you can breathe, the fact that you have blood flowing through, the fact that you have your bones that are giving you some kind of support, the fact that you have the brain power or the the endocrine systems to keep you, or rather endocrine systems to keep you healthy. All the things that you have, your body is made up of systems, and just like that, your dream has to have the systems as well. Many times people talk about it's the life cycle of an organization. It looks like a bell curve, and if you are at the point where you're working on systems and you have your systems set up, if you don't have another idea behind it, think about Apple phones, for instance, or Samsung's phones. They come out every year with a new phone. They don't rely on, the old technology because things change. And if all you're doing is lying on your laurels, then what's going to happen eventually, it's going to die. The next thing is surrounding yourselves with the people that matter. You need to get people who believe in you, people who will keep you accountable to success. Surround yourself with supportive, driven people. People who are just floating on the ocean are not the people who are going to take you where you need to go. And know that some people in their life, they only have so much capacity. And so if you surround yourself with low capacity people, you're only going to rise to that level.
I've heard you say many times, right? The five people. Like, show me your friends, show me your core five, and I'll show you your future. And it's so true because we become so much like the people that we surround ourselves, because we start thinking, we start acting, our behaviors, our practices, our systems start to emulate those that we're around.
You're 100% correct. There heard a story once about an eagle that had the egg had left the nest and was actually around a bunch of turkey eggs. And when they grew up, this eagle grew up with around a bunch of turkeys. And he would be clucking the ground because that's what turkeys do, and look up and see the eagles flying over and said, "Man, I wish I could do that." And then one day the eagle landed and said, "Listen, you were made for more than this. You're not a turkey. You're an eagle. Spread your wings and soar." And so for me, that has always been in the back of my mind. Am I surrounding myself with turkeys? Because turkeys are only going to do a little bit. Or am I surrounding myself with an eagle? Turkeys get eaten every Thanksgiving. Eagles are our national icon. So we want to make sure, what are you surrounding yourself with? And then inside of that environment as well, not just the people, but the place. You want to make sure that you set yourself up, the space that you're working in, to promote focus and creativity. So if you have a lot of clutter where you are, if you have a lot of in your life, you really need to focus. Say, listen, what can I decrease in clutter? Not just, physically with clutter, your desk. What does your office look like? What does your workspace look like? Where's a place that you can focus? Some people can focus really well in an office. Some people would die in an office because it stifles their creativity. They need to sit at a Starbucks with headphones on because that's where they're going to be most creative. So find what makes you most creative, find out what makes you most focused, and put yourself in that environment. And then when you're investing in your personal growth, listen, leaders are learners. We know that. That's been around for a long time. So what are you reading? What are you listening to? What are you learning daily? Every week I have a staff meeting with my team, and I say, tell me about, what are the things that you're reading? What has made a difference for you? What things are you listening to? What kind of podcasts? What kind of journals are you journaling? Are you writing it down? Because when the expectation is that they're going to do these things, it's amazing to watch them rise. If you invest not only in your personal growth, but in the growth of others around you, you yourself will be a success. Somebody said, always find somebody to, do your job so well that you find somebody to replace you. And in an organization, if you find the person to replace you, you'll always have a job because you are a trainer of leaders. and seek mentors and accountability partners. Randy's one of my accountability partners. He holds me accountable. Find a coach if you can find a coach. Randy, I know, does some great coaching, leadership coaching. If you're looking for a coach, reach out to Randy. I'm sure he can help you out. But get mentors, people who are further on down the road, and ask them questions. Come with a book, a journal. I keep a Moleskine, and before I have the conversation with them, I want to have 5 or 6 questions that I can start the conversation with, and then maybe some follow-up thoughts to ask them questions. Know that you're gonna hit some resistance. It's going to happen. If you don't hit resistance, you're not heading the right way. So figure out what identify those common distractions before they even happen. In our adults, you're going to have some distractions. You're going to have some oppositions.
Yeah.
If you understand what they are before you get there, and many times you don't. That's why a coach is important. But if you're a thinker, you'll be able to think and say, okay, what kind of distractions am I going to have? And be mindful and just write them down and say, listen, these are the things, and then allow yourself to come up with what the answers are to those distractions. And so if you do those things, if you figure out the answers before they even become a question, people are going to be like, man, how did you become so successful? Success is not an accident. It's a bunch of intentional steps that wise people take. It's not just success for myself. I'm most successful when I help other people become successful.
Yeah. And that's really what it's all about. But really, to your point, and it isn't always going to be, rainbows and unicorns, right? It's that it's going to take some work. And I think that's one of the things that I have noticed. And as I've been coaching people, speaking to literally, tens of thousands of people and around the country, organizations, and people from their 60s to their 20s, it doesn't matter what they're doing. Everybody wants to bring value. They want to have a life that becomes more fulfilled. They want to maximize their potential and increase their performance. Yet there's sometimes, I think, that we can find ourselves in this place that we think that there's some shortcut because we see the athletes getting $10 million and all they're doing is playing a game, or we see these people that rise really fast, maybe in an organization or politically, or we only hear about the success stories, of an Amazon, a Jeff Bezos starting in his garage, and oh my goodness, the guy's a multi-billionaire. But you don't realize that there were 100,000 other Jeff Bezos in the dot-com bust that lost everything.
Yep.
And the difference is that he was willing to sit there in the garage by himself and do these 5 things. He was willing to put in the work. He was willing to not just have it be by chance. And it's not a guarantee of success, of course, but I think there's too many people that want the Cliff Notes version, right? They want the easy button to push. And it's like the reality of it is that things can be simple, but it doesn't mean that they're easy. You've got some great points on what do we do, right, when we're not seeing the results. Maybe we are frustrated, anxious, things are out of our control. I know you've got a few suggestions on some wisdom to just keep going. Share those with us today.
Absolutely. So really, here's another 5 things you can do. And maybe the 5 are too big for you to do at one time. Try one a day, and Monday through Friday, and then rinse, wash, and repeat. So the wisdom to keep going, number 1 would be really know your why, because your purpose sustains your passion. And to revisit it often, write it down, keep it in front of you, put it on sticky notes, and put sticky notes in your car and in your bathroom when you're getting ready in the morning, and on your computer monitor. Keep the why. Know what your why, because purpose sustains passion. The next one is the really discipline beats motivation. I met a lot of really motivated people, but if they don't have the discipline, motivation wanes. And so build habits for the days when you don't feel like it. The people who are most successful trying to stay healthy are the people who are like, no, I don't feel like going to the gym today, but I'm still going to go to the gym because it's who I want to be in the future. And then rest is part of the plan. You really, really need to rest. Your body needs rest. Your brain needs rest. You need to put strong boundaries and strong walls around the time on your schedule where you're going to rest. Otherwise, your success is not going to be long term. I heard somebody say, a very successful guy, he said, if you work with your brain, relax with your hands. And this guy, he led thousands and thousands of people, one of the most well-known leaders in Christendom, a guy named Rick Warren. And he taught me that. And he said, you really need, if you work with your mind, which I do, you need to rest with your hands. So he has a garden and he works a garden. And that's how he finds relaxation in his body. If you work with your hands, maybe you're in a industry where it's very physical. You need to find places where you're recharging by reading, find a way that you can recharge by resting your body, but using your brain. So rest is always part of the plan. Make sure you plan your rest, and then fail forward. Nobody likes failure, but I am who I am today because of the decisions that I've made, good and bad. And not every bad decision that I've made has turned out bad. Some of those bad decisions that I've made, I've had to relook at and reassess where I am and say, listen, that was a bad decision. What did I learn from it? And how can I move forward? Don't fall down and stay down. Fail forward. I'm going to step up over that setback and view your setbacks as setups for growth. And also in that, it's very important to remember, keep a journal to reflect on the lessons learned. If you don't do these, you'll quickly forget. Remember what if you take your time on your rest day and look at the lessons that you've learned. And if you look back, especially if you have a career of decades, you can look back over the lessons, and who knows, maybe you write a book about it. Maybe it becomes a #1 bestseller and you retire on that Caribbean island faster than you thought you were going to go.
Well, I got the #1 bestseller on Amazon, but I'm not on a Caribbean island yet.
Not yet. It's coming, man. It's coming.
Well, and that brings us to the last point, right? The celebration that we so often forget to do in such a task-driven, results-driven, I haven't achieved what I want driven world. We need to pause and celebrate progress. Talk about that.
Yeah, you need to mark milestones so you stay encouraged personally. Because if you don't, like when this happens, then I'm going to do this. When this happens, then I'm going to buy that object that I've wanted for a while. Yep. And then I'm going to go on this vacation, or I'm going to go to this place. I'm going to allow myself some kind of positive encouragement to know that I've made it. And then always a thankful heart is a grateful heart. Practice gratitude to help maintain your perspective. It's easy when you become very myopic in what you're trying to hit, that if you don't celebrate with gratitude, the people around you are going to feel used. You're going to feel used. You're going to say, my dream used me. And that's a tough thing to think, because, my dream is my purpose, and my purpose. Listen, your purpose in life is not the job that you have. The job that you have allows you to accomplish the purpose in life that you have. Otherwise, when you retire, you have no purpose in life. And so you have to understand, listen, what I'm doing is not my purpose. I have purpose in what I'm doing, there's no doubt, but it's not my overall purpose. The people around you love to hear you be grateful. People around you, if you're ungrateful, they don't want to be around you. They don't want to be around you at all. Listen, the most fun people to be around are the most selfless people to be around. You will draw people to you if you do that. And so practice gratitude helps maintain that perspective of celebration and of success.
Yeah. Wow, well, we've covered a lot here. Obviously, ways to set yourself and your team up for success, how to keep going, a lot of practical nuggets, and hopefully people, well, not only wrote down some things, but I guess I want to leave them with this, with everything that you said. I think is if they pick one thing and start with that one thing, and then each day just improve a little bit in one area. At the end of the day, this podcast comes out every week, and our hope is that a week from now, you find yourself in a better place than you were today. And 2 weeks from now, we help you get a little bit further. And it is a progress journey that we are all on. There's no magical wand or moment, but one step, one idea at a time. I hope that everybody took a bunch of nuggets from Jerry's wisdom today and some practical strategies to move forward. You can find Jerry at connectingme.church. You can always find me at foxpoint.net, and we'll be here in the Fox Den every week helping leaders gather around simply to just grow in life and leadership professionally, personally. Jerry, thanks so much for being with us today.
Hey, it's my pleasure, Randy. Hey, y'all, thank you so much. I pray that you have great success in everything that you do, one step at a time with wisdom and intentionality. Don't drift in success. Choose it daily, and you will be successful.
That is the best way to wrap up. And always remember that the world is waiting for you. I'll see you real soon, everybody. Bye-bye now.
Visit us at foxpoint.net and StephenAllenFox.com.